Or maybe instead we'll do a ghost watch. Going ghost. Here we go. All right, ready for this? Are you prepared? I didn't even have to cut you off.
Oh boy, lay it on me with it.
Okay, so in case you don't know, this is a, I don't know, what do you want to call this? A segment, podcast on a podcast, whatever you want to call it. This is Going Ghost, where we talk about the crazy paranormal ghost stories that the internet has to offer and people need answers for because they have a lot of questions. Anyways, this one is called The Touching by Duct Tape Cat. Thank you. The Touching. All right, shut up. I'm gonna talk now. It's like The Shining, but a little bit more sensual. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about the paranormal experiences, and I had in my home, and this one was quite recent. So it was around 12 a.m., and we recently had a dinner party. This is not relevant, by the way. The dinner party has nothing to do with the rest of the story. Just take it and throw it out the window. I'm trying to fall asleep when a fly begins to bug me. I open the door to let it out before closing the door and going back to sleep. I wake up again to hear it buzzing around, and yes, I visually see it repeating what I did. That's when I feel like my leg hairs moved slightly, like someone walking past me. I thought it was an itch, so I used my leg to scratch the area. I feel it happen again and again, the same area. I was kind of scared, so I leapt back into bed. The fly flew away and didn't bug me again. So here it is, Zane. The paranormal story put in the paranormal activity part of, the internet, where somebody is saying that it was late at night, midnight, and they were sleeping. And they let a fly outside. Here's my story. I was sleeping, and I let a fly outside. And after I closed the door, it felt like the fly was still on my leg. So I brushed it off, and there it went. That's my story. They let a fly out of their room. The fly came back in. It walked around on their legs and tingled their leg hairs, and when they brushed it off, it flew away again. That's the story.
Now, Will, I have a question for you.
Yeah, of course.
What do you think is the paranormal part of that?
I think the paranormal part of this is that they let one fly out and they thought it was the same fly. And the paranormal portion is that I think that this is an alien who created the story who thought that this was something to be written down as paranormal. I think that the writer, Duct Tape Cat, I think they searched a bunch of words on the internet and they were created one of those word clouds, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Like one of the most common things that gets said in a speech or whatever.
Yeah.
And they found duct tape and cat pretty prominently in that word cloud of what people talk about or the internet or something. And they're like, okay, that's my username. They'll all think I'm humans. And then they were like, oh my goodness, look at this horrible black monster that keeps on walking on my legs. It looks so diseased and disgusting. And they let it out of their room, and then it came back in a second time. And they're like, that's a ghost story.
I'm not going to lie, Will. I think I just struck gold in the true essence behind this story, and you're going to love this. All right? Mm-hmm. This is a ghost story.
Okay.
This is a real ghost story, and I'll tell you why. Because the first fly didn't exist.
Oh, no.
They knew it was going to happen. Then the second time the fly happened was really the first time the fly happened. Because
phantom fly itches.
The definition of paranormal is denoting events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. The definition of clairvoyance is the supposed faculty of perceiving things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory conduct. They felt and saw the fly on their leg before that actually happened. So then when it happened the second time, it was really the first time it was happening.
All right, stretch of the century. Thank you, Zane.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they're going to hear this podcast and they're going to be like, thank you, you knew.
Oh my gosh, he cracked the code. He did it. He figured out the fly problem. Yeah, this question asker is going to find Duct Tape Cat's going to look online. Him in his alien form is going to be just browsing Reddit or whatever is going to find later on is, oh my gosh, they cracked it.
We're getting calls from NASA, and it's like a Goodwill Hunting situation where like they couldn't figure out this problem, and then here I come in, just a janitor
Bring this kid
at
in.
Harvard, and I figure out the problem. They're just like, that problem's never been solved before. It doesn't even have an answer. How'd you do that? And you just say, I looked up the definition of clairvoyance.
Yeah, it's your way to fame through pseudoscience.
The first flight, not real. Second flight, pretty real.
Pretty real.